The Gallery of Lost Souls. Amelia, a fervent art enthusiast with a penchant for the peculiar, found herself standing before the decrepit facade of an abandoned mansion, rumored to house a secret gallery of extraordinary paintings. Intrigued by the tales and undeterred by the ominous aura surrounding the place, she decided to venture within. The mansion, once grand and majestic, now whispered echoes of its former glory. As Amelia delved deeper, she stumbled upon a hidden doorway, shrouded in shadows. With bated breath and a pounding heart, she pushed the door open, revealing the long-lost gallery. The walls were adorned with portraits, each capturing a moment of intense emotion. Fear, despair, and sorrow etched on the faces of the subjects, their eyes seemingly following her every move. The artistry was impeccable, yet there was an unsettling realism to each stroke of the brush. Curiosity piqued, Amelia began to research the origins of the paintings. She discovered that each subject was once a real person, all of whom had mysteriously vanished without a trace. The last known moments of their lives were encapsulated on these canvases. As the days passed, Amelia found herself drawn back to the gallery, unable to shake the feeling that the paintings were trying to communicate with her. The air grew heavier with each visit, the line between art and reality blurring as the subjects seemed to reach out, their whispers filling the room. "Help us," they pleaded, their voices laced with agony. Amelia realized that the gallery was a prison, trapping the souls of the subjects within the paintings. They were lost, forgotten, and yearning for release. Determined to help, Amelia delved into occult practices, seeking a way to free the trapped souls. She conducted a ritual, hoping to break the curse that bound them. However, the gallery fought back, the paintings contorting into grotesque versions of themselves, their whispers turning into anguished screams. As the ritual reached its climax, a blinding light engulfed the room, and the gallery fell silent. Amelia, drained and trembling, looked around, only to find the paintings empty, the subjects gone. Relief washed over her, thinking she had succeeded. But as she turned to leave, she caught a glimpse of a new painting on the wall. Her own face stared back at her, eyes wide with fear, and she realized, too late, that she had become the gallery's latest victim. Her screams echoed through the mansion, now eternally trapped within the canvas, as the gallery awaited its next unwary visitor. The Unseen Resident. The Harrison family, enticed by the allure of a fresh start, eagerly moved into the old, seemingly charming house nestled at the end of a quiet street. The house, with its creaking floors and antiquated architecture, whispered tales of a bygone era. But as the days went by, the Harrisons couldn't shake the feeling that they were not alone. Objects would inexplicably move from one room to another. Shadows, with no source in sight, danced along the walls. And at night, the eerie laughter of an unseen presence echoed through the halls, chilling the family to the bone. Desperate for answers, the Harrisons delved into the house's murky history, unearthing the story of a previous resident who had vanished without a trace many years ago. The more they learned, the more the unsettling occurrences escalated, as if the house itself was reacting to their prying. In a last-ditch effort to reclaim their home, the family decided to conduct a séance, hoping to communicate with the unseen resident and persuade it to leave. They invited a renowned medium, hoping her expertise could guide them through the treacherous waters of the unknown. As the séance commenced, the air grew thick and the temperature dropped. The candles flickered wildly as the medium channeled the energy of the house, attempting to make contact with the unseen presence. "Who are you?" she called out, her voice steady yet laced with a hint of fear. The response was immediate. A gust of wind extinguished the candles, plunging the room into darkness, as the laughter, now louder and more sinister, filled the space. "You cannot rid me," the unseen resident hissed, its voice reverberating off the walls. "This is my home. You are the intruders." The medium, her face pale and eyes wide with terror, realized that they had made a grave mistake. The seance, instead of weakening the entity, had given it strength. Objects levitated, hurtling across the room as the shadows converged, forming the apparition of a man, his features twisted in rage. The Harrison family, paralyzed with fear, could only watch as the medium was lifted off the ground, her screams piercing the night. "You should not have meddled," the apparition sneered, as the medium's body contorted in unnatural ways. With a final blood-curdling scream, she vanished, leaving the family alone with the enraged entity. "You will never be rid of me," it declared, before dissipating into the shadows. The Harrisons, their breaths ragged and hearts pounding, knew they had unleashed something far beyond their understanding. The house, once charming, now stood as a sinister reminder of the unseen resident that lurked within. They left that very night, the laughter of the unseen resident following them as they fled, leaving the house to its true owner. The man, once a resident, now a vengeful spirit, claimed the house as his own, awaiting the next unwary occupants, ready to protect his domain at all costs. The Cursed Reel. It was a dreary night at the Oakwood University dormitory when Jake stumbled upon a dust-covered VHS tape in the basement with a chilling label that read, "Watch if you dare." Intrigued and in the mood for a thrill, he convinced his group of friends to join him in what he thought would be an entertaining scare. Gathering in the common room with an old VCR, they inserted the tape, their faces illuminated by the glow of the television as the video began to play. The footage was grainy and distorted, filled with a series of disjointed and deeply disturbing scenes. They watched in horror as the tape depicted shadowy figures lurking in the background, sinister rituals being performed, and chilling apparitions appearing and disappearing at will. The scenes grew progressively more terrifying, each moment more gruesome and bizarre than the last. With bated breath, they watched until the tape abruptly ended, leaving them in stunned silence. Trying to laugh it off, they convinced themselves it was just a sick prank. But as the days went by, the terror they felt during the viewing transformed into reality. One by one, they began to experience strange occurrences eerily similar to the scenes in the video. Shadows seemed to follow them, and they could hear whispers that sent chills down their spines. Objects moved on their own, and they felt an unseen presence watching their every move. Then the accidents began. Jake was the first to fall victim. He was found in his room, his body twisted in an unnatural position, his face frozen in a silent scream. The authorities were baffled, unable to explain the bizarre circumstances of his death. Next was Sarah. She was discovered in the library, her eyes wide open in terror, surrounded by books on ancient curses and demonic rituals. It seemed she had been desperately searching for a way to break the curse before meeting her untimely end. As the body count rose, the remaining students were gripped by an all-consuming fear. They realized that they were living the terror of the cursed video, and they had to uncover its origins to break the curse before it claimed them all. Their search led them to an old, forgotten room in the basement of the university's library, where they found newspaper clippings and documents about a series of gruesome murders that had occurred in the dormitory decades ago. The murderer, a former student obsessed with the occult, had created the cursed tape to trap the souls of those who watched it. The students were now in a race against time, their lives hanging in the balance as they tried to decipher the cryptic clues left behind by the murderer. They realized that to break the curse, they had to destroy the tape and free the trapped souls. But the cursed video had other plans. As they attempted to destroy the tape, the shadowy figures from the video materialized, their forms more terrifying than anything they could have imagined. The air was filled with the sound of whispers and screams as the students fought for their lives. In the end, the tape was destroyed, but the cost was high. The survivors were left scared, their minds haunted by the horrors they had witnessed. The dormitory was evacuated and sealed off, the cursed video now just a chilling memory. But as the last of the students left the building, a faint whisper echoed through the halls, and the shadowy figures lingered, waiting for the next unsuspecting victims to stumble upon the cursed reel and unleash the terror once again.